Hello, this is Brandon Broadwater, and it is a privilege to be with you right now. You know, I was thinking that it would be a good time for us to connect, and the reason why is because there are people struggling more than they need to out there. And interestingly enough, I have the opportunity to be on radio stations and interviews, and in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten these questions that are primarily focused on money, and it seems as though many people are struggling out there. And one of the reasons I believe that people are struggling unnecessarily is because they want the money, they want success, they want happiness. But when it comes to money, people seem to do some things that actually are holding them back. And what is it? There's something that I see out there where people are actually struggling more than they have to, and what they do is one specific thing, and that is they focus on the money. And interestingly enough, one of the things I learned from Grandpa is that when you focus on the money, that is not the action, that is not the focus that we need to have, or that you need to have, or that your friend needs to have, or your business partner needs to have to make the money. That is not what Apple Computers, one of the most successful companies on earth, that is not what they focused on. What did they focus on? Let's give an example. What did they focus on if we take Apple Computers and a product that they have, such as the iPhone, a very successful product? Did they focus on how they can make money with it? Is that how they got started? Is that how they came up with the idea on how to market it? No. What was it about? That's right, it was about the end user experience. And they asked themselves, what would I want? And they focused on something totally different than money. But notice how money was a natural byproduct of what they were doing. So I'd like you to think about some things that you can focus on, some things that will create the natural byproduct of money. And if I can say this, the lesson I learned from Coach about pendulums and higher laws and how higher laws work on a paradox, the whole point about what Grandpa was teaching me was that if I focused on the money, I wouldn't get it. But if I focused on something else, such as service or providing value, then that would have a natural byproduct of creating the money. It's the same thing is true in relationships. That's one of the reasons why I teach about relationships. That's one of the reasons why I created the Abundance Game. That's one of the reasons why I teach the 3-day event, our flagship event called The Answer to Everything, is because I'm starting to hint towards how principles, in general, how principles operate, the mechanics of higher laws. And the mechanics of higher laws, they operate on a paradox like this. And so sometimes going after directly the things that you want is not going to create the result. And I think there's an old, I love to learn from Buddha, and I spent actually a lot of time with an Indian shaman, and I love to learn from religious people as well. And one of the things that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's a quote that Jesus made when he said that if you seek thyself, you will lose yourself. But if you lose thyself, you will find yourself. What does that mean? Well, when I started to understand how higher laws work on a paradox, when going after one thing might not be what is going to create the result that you really want, that flashed back in my mind of that old Bible quote and from Jesus, and I suddenly realized, holy cow, maybe there's a lot more going on here than I realized. Maybe all the higher laws work on a paradox. Maybe this isn't just about money. Maybe this is about relationships. So if I want physical intimacy, what do you have to do? This is what we go over in our relationship program. You don't create physical intimacy by initiating physical intimacy. You create physical intimacy by initiating emotional intimacy. Now, you have to do this with the right intent. And if you don't do that, it's just like going to a car lot with a car salesman with the typical stereotype, where they could care less about you and all they want to do is sell. So with that in mind, I hope that these are some things that you can think about. I hope that this has provided some value. I'll see you at higherlaws.com, and I truly hope to see you in person at one of the events. Have a great day and take care.